This is John Cola with GrowingYourGreens.com. We have another exciting episode for you. Today I'm here at world famous Lara Farms. Well, maybe it's only world famous if you're really into collecting tropical fruit trees and, more importantly, rare cultivars of tropical fruits. This is probably the #1 place you want to know, no matter where you live in the 50 United States, because I'm happy to say that Lara Farms will ship you guys the trees all 50 states, including even Puerto Rico. Plus, they have some ultra rare varieties that some of these varieties you're not going to find anywhere else. So in this episode, I'm going to show you guys how they make some of the healthiest trees to ship to you guys, and how they can assure that over 6,000 shipments, right, they haven't had one complaint of getting a tree that got damaged in shipping because they take their time to ship them right. So let's head into Lara Farms, and you can check them out at larafarmsmiami.com to see all the crazy varieties that they currently have available and can ship to you. So now we're inside Lara Farms, and it's about 12 acres total in property. And this property was originally planted out in all old school Mamey Sapote fruits. If you guys have never tried Mamey Sapote during the season, Lara Farms will also ship you guys the different fruits, and they will show the availability of the fruits that they have online. That being said, we're gonna walk down a little bit, and they have the larger fruit trees that they only will sell in person to locals. And then we're gonna take you to the back lot and show you guys how they do the grafting, and we'll have some of the most rare varieties of fruit trees that they will ship to you. All right, so we're here in the nursery area, and this is where they have the large trees that they only will sell, in person. And what I learned today is that the black sapote is ripe when they actually drop on the ground. Normally they harvest them when they're maybe kind of getting a little bit yellow. But what you want to look for is this arrow will actually go up. But even more important than that, if it drops on the ground, that's when they're truly ready. So first is if it drops on the ground, you want to smell it. Make sure it's not fermented. And then you're just going to peel a little bit of the skin back and try some fruit in here. Wow, that actually is probably the best black sapote I've ever had. It's actually a tinge of sweetness. It reminds me of like eating like a brownie or fudge. But I mean, the cool thing about Lara Farms here is that they have unique and rare varieties. I don't know the specific variety of this, so this is a Wilson. But they have like the ones that are fat and pumpkin shaped, and they have the long ones. And they have so many other kinds of varieties of fruits. But I want to head to the back before it gets too dark for you guys. All right, so I'm currently here in January, and January there's not a whole lot of fruit kind of like ripe. I tried a Chico Sapote, I tried a star fruit, and here we have a Caimito fruit. Let's see if we could find a ripe one. This one's probably pretty good. Now the cool thing about the Caimito or the star apple is that they have varieties like this one, which is a smaller fruit, but it ripens several months before they normally ripen. They would normally ripen maybe like April. This one's actually ripe right now in January. So how to eat these, the best way is just break it in half and then squeeze all this fruit up and suck. That's a good fruit. I'll show you guys what it looks like on the inside there. Look at that. Totally good. I wish I could show you all the crazy varieties they have of mangoes, which it is definitely not mango season. They got different kinds of atamoyas, different kinds of avocados, different kinds of Chico Sapotes, different kinds of Mamey Sapotes, all kinds of stuff. I can't show you any of them because they're not really in season. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna throw up right now their website, and you can see just like all the varieties listed on their website, plus if they have them in stock or not. This place has an insane amount of varieties, and they do an insane amount of work to make them available and get them shipped out to you. So I'm going to share a tip with you guys that I just learned this trip actually from Julian, who I'll be interviewing at the end of this episode. We're sitting in front of his mangoes in pots. This is actually happens to be a Maha mango. And the cool thing I learned this trip is that if you want to know what the mango is going to smell like, right, in the future, right, and it's not having the fruit or even the flowers yet, you can just pluck a little leaf here. If you pluck the leaf and then you smell right there, like the sap that's coming out, whoa, this smells like sappy. It's like this gives you the scent of what the mango, when it's fully formed, will be smelling like. So it kind of gives you a rough idea. So like mango breeders such as Zill would basically, pick a leaf and smell it, and if it smelled a lot different than like the traditional ones that he used to have, right? Then he'd keep it, but if it just like, oh, this smells like that other one, then he'd just get rid of it. So this is a quick way to know before it flowers, you know, what the fruit might kind of taste like. Of course, if you take it and you try to chew on the edge, it's still really bitter and you don't get the mango flavor. All right, so as you guys can see behind me, this is just a big orchard with all different kinds of fruit trees. You know, I'll be honest, I can't like name this is this variety and that's that. I mean, Julian showed me like this is that. Man, I can't remember, but what I will say is that he has an impressive collection of a lot of rare varieties, and actually he grows the fruit here that he'll sell you, but also more importantly, this is his nursery stock, because he'll take like cuttings from the special varieties and then graft them on to produce the nursery stock that I'm going to show you guys right now that is ready to ship to you guys. So we're going to flip the camera around. So you can see he has a shade house, and basically this has like mostly the 3 gallons that he will pull from to ship to you when you guys order a 3 gallon. These are the finished trees, and to get these, I want to show you guys the whole process he uses to make these healthy trees that he will ship to you, because you know I like to do a lot of teaching on my channel. But more importantly, I double checked on Julian's whole process to make the healthy tree, so that I know when I'm making this video, if you order a tree from him, he's going to ship you some healthy trees that he's grafted here on site. He's not a reseller. He's doing all the hard work, him and his whole crew here, to get you guys out the healthiest trees. And I want to show you guys the process we're going to run you through right now. All right, so the first step is that he has these long tables, which are basically made out of 2x4s with a bottom on it, and they're just at height. And he just has basically a good potting soil mix with sand in there. He plants the seeds, so you guys can see what seeds are these, right? Mamey Sapote seeds. So he plants the seeds, gets them to germinate until he's got the small little baby plants germinating. Once they germinated, then he moves them up to a 1 gallon. So I want to show you guys the 1 gallon next. All right, so once he has the little seedlings, he pots them up into 1 gallons. These happen to be avocados. He lets them grow a little bit until he then has orders, or he's making, you know, grafts. He'll go get the wood from plant, and he'll cut it off, the tips, and then he'll basically graft it on to one of the seedlings. So we're going to take one of the Mamey plants, and then I'm going to show you guys how he takes the 1 gallon and then he grafts on the desired variety that who will then ship to you. All right, next step, he goes to the donor tree, and I don't know which tree this is. He probably all has them memorized, but this is some kind of Mamey, and then he'll come over to the tree, and he'll basically just chop off the branch, and this will be the wood that he's grafting on to the 1 gallon, to the seedling that he has. So then when it grows out, it's going to be this exact rare variety. So I'm going to actually show you guys his process. All right, so as you guys can see, we're about to go into a special area that is actually climate controlled. They have a water wall to keep the temperature, you know, humid and cooler than the outside. We have the cutting that we just got, and then we got a seedling Mamey Sapote plant. I don't know what variety this is, but basically we're going to take this and chop off the top and put it on here. This happens in a climate controlled area. That's very important to have good success. He claims he gets like 85% take rate when he does the grafting. All right, now I want to show you guys how they do the grafting here. We got the 1 gallon and we got the cutting. First step is you got to use clean equipment, so they have a sterile equipment here. We're going to go ahead and first take the cutter, and we're going to cut off all the small leaves as close as we can off the plant. All these are not needed. We're going to leave maybe 3 or 4 up near the top. Next step, we're just going to go ahead and take a slice off here. So got a nice clean surface to work with. We're going to then go ahead and come up a little ways and then just basically cut this Mamey seedling off. Discard this. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and graft this onto here. So to do that, once again, they got a clean tool here. So we're going to do a standard cleft graft. This is not rocket science. We're going to basically cut 2 edges and come to a nice point. All right, so we have a nice point there. And then we're just going to take the same knife, once again, sterilize it, and just cut down the middle here. Right down the middle. And then we have to line up only 1 cambium layer. It'd be better if you lined up both, but he says, oh, 1 will work. We should probably cut a bit deeper down. And we're going to shove this guy right in there. And if we line up one side, then we take this pre-cut tape here, special grafting tape, and then we're just going to wrap it nice and tight. This does two things: holds it together and also keeps in the moisture on there. So we're just going to stretch it and turn it to wrap the whole joint. They have experts doing this. I'm just showing you guys for example. But yeah, once they got it all really nice and taped up, they're going to go ahead and then take these metal wires that they reuse, and we're going to make sure we get ones that are nice and tall. They'll stick one in there, and they'll stick another one right over the top to make like a little mini greenhouse. And then they take a clean plastic bag, they open up the bag, and they just put it over the top, and they position the bag the best way so that the leaves do not touch the bag. That's very important. Once they have that around, they'll then take a rubber band and rubber band it. And so this is one successful graft. As you guys can see behind me, they have basically all kinds of different, trees all labeled in each pallet. Has the same kind of tree that they've grafted that will sit in here literally for 2 to 3 months. For the first while, it'll sit with the humidity dome to make sure that the graft takes and it's humid inside there, so the leaves could, absorb the moisture from the humidity. Because the root system is not yet, functional and, giving nutrients to the top half. So it's very important that they, make the humidity in there. Of course, some varieties will not need the humidity. This will sit inside a double shade greenhouse, so it doesn't get too much sun, so they can basically just heal for the next, 2 to 3 months. So now I'm going to share with you guys a few tips for success in grafting, right? And why they have such high level of success and have high quality trees that they will ship to you guys anywhere in the United States. Because number one, they have a water wall, right? What does this water wall do? This water wall will drop the temperature in here maybe like 20 degrees so that it's cooler in here, and more importantly, a constant temperature. It is currently running right now. And if they're doing this outside in the normal ambient temperature, right, they're not going to be as successful. It's too hot, things are going to dry out. The water wall keeps things nice and humid, also a lot cooler in here so that they can be successful. You can see behind me here, they just got basically flats and flats and flats of all different kinds of plants that maybe by the time you're watching this may get shipped out to you. So they're sitting in here literally for like 2 to 3 months, and then they go into the next area that I'm going to show you guys now. It has a single hoop with a single shade cloth, so that down there they could basically be hardened off, right? They have to be babied when they're in this stage because they just got grafted. Next stage, they're getting a little bit more tolerant. The graft is healed, and now they want it to start growing and, sending root exudates down and pulling nutrients up from the roots so that the tree could be nice and healthy. So let me go ahead and take you guys outside the door and show you guys healthy grafted trees. So you guys can see behind me, we have basically just tables and tables, and this guy has so many freaking 1 gallon plants, it's not even funny. If you come to the nursery, don't buy the 1 gallons because they're gonna you're gonna get a local discount, and the 3 gallons are a much better deal when you buy them locally in person. Of course, if you're shopping online, I always encourage you guys to buy the largest size you can afford, because you're gonna get a jump and it's gonna be a lot healthier because it's been grown out for a lot longer. These are the 1 gallons you can see, and the graft is basically, taken, and this is on the way to healing. And actually on this one, you can see the graft tape is already just decomposing on its own and coming off. And this is definitely a successful graft. And this could be the size that he will ship to you. But I want to show you guys just a few more, and actually just one rare specimen that might even come with fruit on it when you buy it. That's definitely an anomaly because, depending on the plant, it may still take several years to fruit. So next I want to show you guys why I like to buy grafted trees, because look at this. Now this may be an anomaly and this is probably not going to happen to you, but it can, and that's the cool thing about grafted trees. If you start out with a seedling, it takes a lot longer time from the seedling in general to turn into a full tree and then make fruit, whereas literally this was just done a few months ago. You could already see there's fruit on the plant because the below the graft is a baby, but above the graft is more mature wood that has been already fruiting. So, you know, that's gonna save you guys time when you guys want some of these rare fruits. Just wanna share with you guys a scope of Lara Farms so you guys can see on both sides of me there's basically hoop houses with a single shade, and these have all the grafted trees. Like, he has so many different varieties, and that's the cool thing is that he all does them in-house here, right? He's not just a reseller. He's gonna make sure that every grafted tree you buy from his website is the healthiest and inspected for disease and all this stuff before he ships them to you. And so he has so much inventory. It's absolutely insane. If I had this much inventory, I'd go crazy because he has like over 100 different kinds of mangoes in it right now. I think he has over 70 varieties available on his website that you can order and he will ship to you. So that's completely insane. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and take a 1 gallon and show you guys how he packs it so that it doesn't get damaged in shipping. A lot of, you know, people fail at this, and he shipped over 6,000 packages successfully. So let's show you the technique so that you get your fruit tree without damage. So now I'm gonna show you guys real quick how they box the fruit trees up so that you get them in one piece. I mean, this plant is really bottom heavy, right? Should it fall over in the box and it's not properly protected, this could totally break all the time, which could be up to, you know, 4 months or longer, could be wasted if this gets damaged in shipping. So they have a very special techniques that they use here to ensure you get your trees perfectly healthy each and every time. All right, so the first step is they'll basically cut the pot down. So say the pot's too tall, they'll cut it down to the soil level so they have something even to work with so they can protect it. Next step is they're gonna have a little cardboard cutout, right, with you know, so they could put it around the tree, but more importantly, when they do this, they're gonna notch it out in 3 different spots, equidistant from each other, because they're gonna basically put bamboo stakes so they could secure this down in place, right? Once they got it notched out, and this is nice and good in there, they're gonna go ahead and take some tape and tape the heck out of this so that the soil does not leave the 1 gallon pot. They'll just go around and they won't tape over the little cutouts where they're gonna put the stakes in. All right, so as you guys can see, I got it all fully taped down. We can tip this over and no dirt comes out, right? The next step is we're gonna go ahead and take a box. This box is made specifically for the trees. It's 6 by 6 by 24. Should you get a 3 gallon, they're gonna have a 10 by 10 by, I don't know how tall, 24 or whatever, right? And they're gonna select the tree that is gonna be able to fit the box, right? So they may send you one, this is about the tallest you're gonna get in a 1 gallon because that goes to the top of the box. They may send you one that's shorter. Of course, they're gonna, you know, go and select you the healthiest tree that they got that they could ship to you. Then they're gonna take some 3 feet tall bamboo stakes and stick them all the way in the pot on 3 of the different sides. So this will give it stability so that it doesn't fall over. Then what they're gonna do is they're gonna take this and then put it into the box. It's just gonna slide to the bottom. They're gonna then take the trimmers and they're gonna cut off the bamboo flush with the top of the box. All right, and then they're gonna gently tuck the leaves in. Then once they have it in there, they could seal it up. And then what they do is they got the fragile labels on there, so they label it fragile. And then very important, right? They put an arrow. They put arrows to let you know that it needs to be this side up. And then check it out, guys. You can flip this over, toss it. You can play football with it. Well, maybe don't play football with it. And like, even if you put it upside down, right, it'll fall over. Maybe we could flip this all around. Look at that. Like, I hope they don't do this at UPS when they ship it, right? Look at that. Look at this. This is crazy. Woo! All right, landed right side up because it's heavy, right? Now I want to show you guys if this tree was damaged at all, right? And probably to open it up, what you want to do is when you see the arrow and you get it, you want to probably open it from the bottom. That's probably the safest thing to do. Open it from the bottom, open this up, and let it drop out the bottom so you don't damage it. Look at this. Look at that. That tree was not damaged at all, and I was like flipping it upside down, all kinds of stuff, right? That's the way they do it here at Lara Farms to ensure you get your fruit trees in one piece, healthy, just like they shipped it to you, right? Cardboard tape, some bamboo, and more importantly, the appropriate size box. The other thing they've learned is that they don't ship the USPS, right? They saw how unreliable the United States Post Office was, so they will only ship to you guys through UPS. In the state of Florida, they'll ship 1 day. Other places in the country, because these trees are very valuable, you know, they're going to ship it 2-day shipping for you. And the thing is, the customer will pay for the shipping. So no matter where you live, you're going to pay the shipping. They're going to pack it up so you guys get it safe. The cool thing is, if you guys want to order, I would encourage you guys to order more than 1 tree, right? If you order 1 tree, it's going to come in this box. But I would say order in like, you know, multiples of 2. If it's 2, they're going to tape 2 boxes together. If it's 4, they're going to tape 4 boxes together to make 1 super box. Each one's going to be individually packed. This way you're going to save so much more money on the shipping. So whether you order 1, 2, or you could order 4 or 6 or 8, right? They can make 1 super huge box, and you're going to pay a lower shipping price than ordering, you know, 5 trees separately, right? So make a bigger order with individual trees, all the same size, so they can make 1 super box, because they tape the individual box together to make 1 giant box, and you're going to save on shipping. And Lara Farms here has negotiated really discounted rates with UPS that he passes on to you, so you could get some of these rare varieties of fruit trees. I think the last thing we're going to do in this video is we're going to sit down with Julian of Lara Farms to learn more about the farm here, the fruits and trees that he could ship you anywhere in the United States. All right, so now I have the pleasure of introducing you guys to Julian Lara, the owner here at Lara Farms, and we're going to learn more about Lara Farms. And you saw the whole process they do to go through to send you guys the highest quality trees that don't get damaged. So we're going to dive in deep and ask him lots of questions about the farm here and learn a lot more about the trees that I could ever show you, because I mean, he's here every single day.
It's the art of shipping.
This is the art of shipping right here, man. The shipping master right here. All right, Julian, so tell me, how did this farm start and how long ago did it start?
Well, my dad first started back in 1980.
1980,
yes.
Wow.
He decided to buy, you know, a 5-acre plot of land here in the Redlands, which was back then considered really the middle of nowhere.
Before it was all developed.
Well, it's not there yet. There's a lot of development going on, especially by US1, but there's development down here too, believe it or not. But it's been more aggressive than ever.
So nowadays we're losing farmland.
Yeah, we are. We're losing you know, avocado, mango groves by tons of acres. I mean, here, I mean, it started over there. You know, 100 years ago, east of US1, it was all mango groves and avocado groves. That's basically where they grew everything because of the climate. Over there, east of US1, is what I call the honey zone, because it's like living on a tropical island. You're close to the ocean, it's breezy, there's low humidity, and mangoes get no disease.
Ah.
Now we're out west.
So that was a choice property for growing fruit trees, and they should have developed here
instead of developing over here where it's horrible conditions for mangoes and growing fruit trees. There's certain fruit trees like Mamey does well. They don't have a problem with humidity, but when it comes to mangoes and anonas, they like to be in a dry climate, which is you know, like on a tropical island, like in Cuba, or you know, in a place that's elevated on a hill or something, where the air is dry and the spores are being blown away by the ocean breeze. So basically, over here where I'm at, it's stagnant. It's very humid, and but we have to spray with. Unfortunately, we have to spray with coppercide in order to have some presentable looking mangoes. You know, it's a thing that, you know, that has to be done, but at least it's a natural element. You know, it's copper.
Yeah. So your dad started the farm in 1980. What was planted, and when did you get involved?
Well, and back in 1980, I was only 8 years old, but you know, I took an interest early. You know, my dad would practically, you know, bend my arm to come down here on the weekends and drag me away from the television Saturday mornings. And
cartoons back in the days, Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, that was some good stuff. But I would come here and just most of the time just listen to him talk to his customers, and you know, the advice he would give, and you know, were a lot of lessons learned, and you know, he was truly a treasure chest of knowledge. And you know, maybe, you know, decades of doing that, and until, you know, I grew up a little bit and started working here seriously, which was, you know, when I was about 25, back in '97. And I started coming here every single day, even on Sundays.
Wow.
And took care of customers. Back then, it was a strong retail market. People were coming from far and wide to buy fruit trees for their backyard. And we would make a good living, good enough so that we were able to buy another 5 acres and a house.
Wow.
Here, just adjacent to everything. So it's great. It's a great commute to work. You know, you get on the golf cart and you just drive to work, and it's right there. So that's just a fabulous way to live your life.
So your dad started this, and like he knew everything, right? And then what percentage of information do you think that, you know, did your dad literally download to you before, you know, he passed to the next world?
Right. Well, he worked at the research center here in Homestead.
Oh, he worked at the research center, so that's how he got some of these rare varieties that like are hard to find.
Correct. He started working there back in the 70s. Got a job with Carl Campbell at the TREC Research Center. TREC stands for Tropical Research Education Center, because they have a lot of, you know, graduate students, and they have a dormitory, and they also give classes to the public too. So they have a tropical fruit tree collection that my dad helped graft and plant over there at TREC back in the 70s and 80s. And then my dad retired in 92 after Hurricane Andrew, and just you know, try to focus on the farm and rebuilding it after that disaster. And you know, a few years later after that, started, you know, coming here every day and working with him and learning. And as a teenager growing up too, he taught me how to graft, and learned how to graft many things, and went through a lot of trials and error until, you know, just perfecting the craft. And you know, and the rest is history.
Wow, so how long have you been working consistently on the farm here?
Well, like I said, since 1997.
97. So wow, you guys could do the math. I don't know, what is that? How many years?
Seriously working. Because before that, I mean, I was a 14-year-old or a 13-year-old, you know, playing with a grafting knife, cutting my fingers, and, you know, grafting sapodilla, grafting mamey, grafting mango, and then, you know, it wasn't easy. And my dad did a lot of grafting, and he did a lot of teaching too, because a lot of the employees that we've had in the past, we've taught them how to graft. And you know, and then as people came and left, more and more people started learning how to grafting, and even starting their own business. So we got a lot of work nowadays, and we're pumping out a lot of plants to people's house via UPS. I guess 48 states out of 50.
What states don't you ship to?
Well, I think Alaska. We don't ship to Alaska.
Oh, you haven't yet?
I haven't yet, but I think it's too expensive. I don't think the infrastructure is ready for that kind of stuff.
And then plus to try to keep one of these plants alive in Alaska, good luck.
Well, you're gonna need a serious greenhouse. I mean, you're gonna have one hell like $1 million greenhouse if you're gonna do that in Alaska. But you know, there's somebody in Canada that's growing. I think growing mango and growing soursop and growing all these things inside of his house.
Wow.
Yeah, that's extreme right there. So there's people doing it in Atlanta, Georgia, California, San Diego. People are planting avocados and mangoes outside.
Oh yeah, no problem in San Diego. I mean, San Diego is like avocado capital, Fallbrook.
Yeah, well, you know, there's one mango that is originally from California.
Oh, what's that one?
That one's called the OTT.
Oh, really? I never knew that.
And let me tell you, if you
what
like,
does it taste like?
Well, it tastes like, it's just a classic flavored mango, but it's very rich. Very rich mango. It has a high sugar content. It's completely fiberless. It looks like a Hayden. It has nice red color and yellow in the bottom. I call it the improved Hayden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it's just, I think, one of the best. We have over 100 mangoes here.
Wow, and you ship all these varieties to people, like doing the grafting technique that you saw me do earlier, right?
Yeah. We graft everything. We do a cleft graft on almost everything here, especially when they're young. That's the best technique, because you know, when you break your arm and you're like, you know, 9 years old, 10 years old,
you heal quick.
The bones heal really quick, opposed to when you get older. When you're a 70-year-old man and you break your collarbone,
it could be death.
It could be bad.
You're not gonna make it.
It could be a bad thing. So we try to graft things as young as possible, so that the healing takes place. You know, it happens really fast. There's a lot of young cells and they regenerate really easy.
Cool, that's good to know. So tell me more about the different varieties, because I know your dad, helped Trek, set up their germplasm and all the rare varieties, and then of course he's grown them here, and you still didn't even stop with your dad in the, whatever, 80s and 90s when he was doing it. I know you even continue to seek out new rare varieties that you're bringing in all the time, and then more importantly, unlike collectors that just hoard it for themselves, right? You're making it available to other people.
Yeah, you can pretty much call this place like a tropical fruit tree zoo.
Fruit tree zoo.
Kind of have like, try to have a specimen or a pair of specimens, like, two Tesoro Mamey Americanas, two Redland Mamey Americanas, two Fairchild Mamey Americanas, in case one dies. And to be honest, let's say something happens and mine get wiped out for some reason, from a hurricane or from some other event. It's good to know that somebody else has it.
Yeah, because you're sharing it and you got backups to all the customers that have bought it.
Well, not just all the customers,
friends in the area.
but we also have some place in Broward that's maybe like a Tropical Acres nursery, or another customer, or even a research facility over there, or Broward, or in the Keys, that can hold it just in case. Or even like the fruit and spice. Every time I have something that's worthwhile, I go to the fruit and spice park.
Oh, and you donate plants
and I make sure they get one.
Oh, cool.
Just for the sake of
having
preservation
of the genetic diversity. It's so important these days.
Give another one to the research center, to give it to Trek, and maybe the USDA. And so that way, there's a guarantee of preservation. In case mine dies, there's backup.
Wow, that's cool. I didn't know you did that.
Well, it's a smart thing to do.
Absolutely, yeah. We're losing genetic diversity with the big agriculture industrial farms. They're just like, oh, you could have these varieties. Like, if you go to the grocery store and buy an avocado, it's usually a Haas avocado, unless you're in Florida, then you might get the Caribbean, low-fat avocado. But Julian, how many avocado varieties do you sell here?
Well, I think I have about 40 different avocados.
40 different avocado varieties
in my collection. I probably sell, I can't remember if it's 30 that I have available on the website in a 1-gallon container. Hopefully soon I'll have all of them available, and I do find some gems here and there that I don't have in my collection that I collect budwood from and graft it and put it on my website. One being Expedition, and another which is like a choquette size avocado, but that thing is so good.
Because it's fatty, big,
it's dense. The flesh is dense. It's not watery. Because there's watery avocados, and then there's dense, pasty avocados. This is the type that I like. Like Simmons is another one. Now, there's another variety that I brought into the market that I got from a private collector that didn't want to release it until just recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that one is the Ronnie. He named it after his son. It's a black skin avocado.
Edible skin?
No, not edible skin. That's the Brogdon.
Okay.
Which is also, that one tastes like a walnut. That one's fabulous. But this one, the Ronnie, is a late season avocado that holds on the tree until March and April.
Wow.
But then, let me tell you a quick story. I went to Trek one day, and I saw a tree that with big avocados, and it was April.
April?
And there is no avocados.
That's totally the out of season.
There's no avocados in April. So this thing had things like this, and with black blush on it, like a Brogdon. So I picked the fruit, brought it back home, let it ripe, tried it, and it was delicious. It was dense, just the way I like it. Great flavor. It had that walnut avocado flavor that I loved, and it made fruit in April, and then I kept on going, and in May it still had fruit.
Wow.
So it's a Donnie killer, because Donnie is the May avocado, which is really on the watery side. So this is, I think, is going to be the Donnie killer, and even better is it makes fruit in April when there's no avocado. So I did alert the Jonathan Crane, the tropical fruit specialist, and I showed him, look, this tree has a tag that says Oro Negro, which is another cultivar that's really good. But obviously this is not Oro Negro. This is something else. So he looked at it, he goes, oh yeah, I can see that the graft died on this. and the rootstock.
So it's a rootstock.
The rootstock
Oh
took
man,
over. Yeah.
that's so insane. And so then what's the name of that one?
You know what he came up with?
What?
May.
May.
Yeah,
April May.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a great name. So let's keep it. So I got butterwood of that, and I'm
so that's in process.
It's in the process. Hopefully, gonna have a ton of those.
Wow.
And that's going to be something for commercial use that has a lot of potential.
Yeah, because you have Florida avocados when nobody else does.
That's right. That's right.
So tell me this, Julian. So based on your collection, what you have now, how many months in a year could you have ripe avocados here in Florida if you grew them yourself?
Well, with the discovery of the Mamey and the discovery of the Ronnie, all year round.
Wow, 12 months a year you'd have your own avocados. Wow.
That has been a personal goal of mine, is to be able to have avocados all year round. And it's been out of my reach for decades, and out of my father's reach too.
Wow.
And that's something my father's been after. And you know something else we've been after for the same reason is the Mamey.
Oh really?
Mamey season goes dry on October, November, December, January, February, and I found the Mamey that makes fruit from December probably until June or July.
Really? So now you got Mamey covered all year long too?
Almost all year round, because you know we have the Key West, which is a summer fruit. But if you have a lot of trees like I do, I have a ton of trees. They don't all get picked all at once, so they stay on the tree out. And they can hang out until November.
Oh wow!
So when those are done, this new one starts to come in December, which is unheard of, never seen before, and sought after with antennas at full extension for decades by all the Mamey people down here. That's the crown jewel, is a off-season Mamey in December and January.
What's that one called?
This one is called Jamaica.
Oh, Jamaica! Yeah, my friend Paul Nissan sampled that, and actually you gave me a couple to take with me to try it.
Yeah.
So the flavor is supposed to be also insane.
Yeah, well, it's. Let me tell you, I was very, very impressed by the eating quality of this fruit, because there's Mameys that are on the watery side like avocados, and there's Mameys that are more dense, more pasty, and those are the ones that I like. I don't like nothing against the Key West cultivar. It's a great cultivar. It's a reliable cultivar, but it's on the watery side. You cut it, you put it in the fridge, and it's like all, it's all breaking down. It's getting soft like Jello. I'm not a fan of that. Now, if you want to make a milkshake with that or an ice cream, that's no problem at all. But this Mamey, it would be a sin to make a milkshake with.
It keeps the texture nice.
Yeah, it's to cut it in half and eat it with a spoon, and it's the finest Mamey flesh you can ever have, and the flavor, because every cultivar has this unique type of sugar. You have a sugar, like in apples, Granny Smith tastes different from a Fuji, and a Fuji tastes different from a Red Delicious. So the same thing with mangoes, same thing with Mameys, same thing with avocados, same thing with a lot of tropical fruit. But it's a rabbit hole that runs deep.
It's a rabbit hole.
And I've been through them all. And I've explored them all. So basically this Mamey, and the person in the video that you mentioned, Paul's video, his neighbor Ron has 7 Mamey trees in his house. And so he knows about Mamey. He has a lot of different cultivars. And he said that this might be the best one.
Wow. So I'll put a link down below to that Paul video where you can see Ron and Paul trying it.
So you got an outside source with the same impression that I got when I first tried it.
Wow.
And I just by chance decided to scratch the fruit. Just that I know it's going to be green. I'm going to scratch it anyways. And it was red, and I was so surprised by that. So, in December.
So what's the story? Where did this Mamey come from?
Okay, the story.
Every tree variety cultivar has a story.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable story, because this tree is at Trek.
Oh, that Trek too? Yeah. So Trek is really valuable.
1975 it was planted.
Wow.
And it was named by Carl Campbell, Richard Campbell's dad. Back in 1975, and he named it Jamaica. And I asked Richard, have you ever heard of this Jamaica Mamey before? He said, no, never heard of it. Your dad named it.
It's been growing there all these years, and nobody knew that it ripened off season.
Nobody knew it ripened off season. But your dad named it. What can you tell me? I mean, why would he name it Jamaica? Is it from Jamaica? Because, well, my dad's pretty strict when it comes to naming things. So if he named it Jamaica, it has to do something with Jamaica. It has to be from Jamaica or somebody from Jamaica gave it to him. So there's no information about this. So I did talk to Jonathan Crane about it, and he is going to look into it as far as the any information they have, any data that they have in the records about this mamey and the origins of it, or whatever backstory there is on it. So he's going to look into it, and as soon as I find out anything, I'm pretty sure it's going to get on the internet.
Wow, insane. So I mean, I could sit here all night with Julian. We could talk about the best mangoes, the best this, the best Chico Sapote, all
and
these
my
things.
my dad worked there for 25 years. Not once did he mention this.
Wow.
It's a great conversation. This is something I would love to talk to my dad about. I mean, unfortunately, he passed away about 3 years ago. But let me tell you, if he was alive, I would be just all over him talking to him. How can you not have seen that?
But also, too, maybe the climate is changing and it's getting warmer, so maybe now it's fruiting at a different time when it did like 30 years ago.
I don't think so. I think genetics are genetics. Unless you move it somewhere. If you move it to the Caribbean, or you're growing
different climate.
If you're growing in Atlanta, Georgia, you might get a different season. If you're growing in the Dominican Republic, you might get a different. The Southern Hemisphere, you definitely get a different season. But it's just been under the radar all this time, and it's just unbelievable. And it's a treasure. But there's another variety that makes fruit in December, January that everybody knows about. It's called Tazumal. But the problem with Tazumal, it has uneven ripening. You know,
so it's bad for commercial growers.
Hard on one side and perfect on the other.
Sucks.
So
I hate that.
For the supermarket, a lot of people are going to get upset when they get home and ripen in, and half of it's hard. So no one really dug into that mamey. No one really planted it and offered it for sale because of that problem, that issue. And anybody in the mamey world knows about that. But you know, for milkshakes, at the end of the day, if you're going to use that variety for milkshakes and you need to have fresh mamey, that would be a good option. Because if it goes in the blender, it's going to turn into pulp anyways, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much the deal with mamey, man. I mean, the whole not having it all year round has always been something that's been wanting to get resolved, and it finally did.
Wow, so avocados and mamey pretty much year round.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let me tell you, that's one heck of a big deal.
Wow, that's cool, man. So here's the thing about Julian that, you know, he won't tell you, but I will. You know, I highly respect this man because, I mean, not only is he a farmer, he basically keeps this nursery alive, you know, does some of the work on the nursery, but then he does all the customer service personally. If you call him up from his phone number on the website, you email him, or even do the live chat on the website, or even contact him through Facebook, right? He's like literally checking his phone. If he gets a message, like it bings him, and then he picks it up and he answers it. Now he's using Siri, so he says, Siri, tell him this, blah, blah, blah. So then it's super easy.
Yeah,
but
voice the dictator, the dictation on thing.
Yeah, but nonetheless, I mean, I saw he was showing me his phone. He like answered some of these questions. I mean, obviously this during normal business hours, right, within 5-10 minutes sometimes, right? Which is insane. So like he does all the customer service, and you know that's why he has some really good reviews on people satisfied with the service he can provide you guys and the fruit trees he ships you. So Julian, tell me about, you know, one of the testimonies you've gotten recently from a customer that was just overjoyed with his shipment.
Yeah, people are happy with the condition of the plant when it gets to their house. I mean, I have customers that buy from me from Texas or Arizona, California, Hawaii, even up north in New York, Chicago, Washington State. And you know, if you live in Florida, it gets to you in 1 day. And if outside of Florida, we're looking at 2 days. And that's it. And I'm using UPS just for the reliability that they offer. I don't like the post office. You know, you can say you want 2 days and it end up being 5 days, and there's no accountability. So I've learned that UPS offers greater service and more reliable service. And the trees that do get damaged on delivery, you know, the customers will notify me and I will resolve it immediately. You know, I do ask for a picture, and if everything checks out, I either offer a refund immediately, or ship another plant.
All right, Julian, so do you have any guarantee on the plants? Like, say somebody gets the plant and it doesn't make it, because you ship it, it gets there in good shape, but then for some reason, even if the customer messes up, right, the plant doesn't make it. I mean, is there any kind of guarantees on that or what?
You know, I do give a 30-day guarantee. So if the tree dies on you within 30 days, I will give you back your money or ship you another tree. Simple as that. I don't hassle anybody. I know that sometimes trees do get beat up. You know, sometimes the stress from, you know, it could be heat stress, or it could be cold stress, because now in the winter it's cold in some places. But most of the time they make it just fine. And I do look at the forecasts. Like if someone is ordering a tree from Nebraska, and it's 25 degrees during the day and 17 at night, I'm gonna have to make a decision. You have to hold it and wait for the forecast to improve, or another technique that I've used that's been very effective is bagging the whole tree.
Keep like a greenhouse layer in there.
Right, put like a plastic layer. I tie a knot in the top, and that provides more insulation, as well as the box. So if it's an extreme freezing temperatures, I can do that. I do that. Now, if it's, you know, in the 40s, it's gonna be fine.
Wow.
It's not gonna get any cold damage. You get cell damage on fruit trees when it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the speed limit. If you go any colder than that, you're risking cell damage, and that's irreversible. Now, plastic bags make a big difference.
A couple degrees.
Yeah. Well, more than that, because that and the box.
I see.
But if it dies within 30 days, sometimes it gets mistreated. They kick field goals with the box, or they throw it in the truck, or it gets unloaded here and then loaded back up, and it gets lame sometimes, and or something happens. It gets rattled up too much, and it takes a couple of weeks for that to die. You know, or sometimes it takes 3 weeks to die. If it looks like if it's at a point of no return, customer gets worried, calls me up right away, shows me a picture, and I'm like, yeah, it looks like it's going to die. Let's get you another one, or I can give you back your money.
I see. So, but what if it's the customer's fault? Like they planted outside in Nebraska and it's 25 degrees and they're not that smart.
You know the biggest mistake everybody makes is overwatering. People sometimes love their tree to death. Water every day. Let me put it in a nice big pot. So you're getting like a 1-gallon tree or a 3-gallon tree and putting it in a 25-gallon.
Yeah, never move it up that quick.
No, because it doesn't like to be wet all the time. If it's wet all the time, the roots can rot. So what's the best thing to do is when you receive your tree at home, wait for it to grow about 4 or 5 inches more, 4 to 6 inches more.
In the pot?
In the pot. Don't move it from the pot. And then after that, you switch it from the 1-gallon to the 3-gallon or 2.5-gallon. And you buy some Pro Mix soil.
Pro Mix. Walmart even sells it.
Right, and it has the perlite.
Yep.
And it helps with the drainage. And then you let it grow in there. When it gets about 2 feet tall, 3 feet tall, you can put it in the ground or leave it in there for a year and a half. Nothing's going to happen. It's like a shark in a fish tank. It's not going to outgrow the fish tank until you want to step it up to a 7-gallon. And then when that grows and goes through that same process, put it in a 15-gallon. And by the time you're at 25, 35, 45-gallon, you're looking at 10 years going by.
Wow.
And you can be watching it grow and eating at the same time.
So let's talk about that. So I know you have customers all over the country, and some people grow your fruit trees like indoors. They're so hardcore, they'll grow them indoors in the winter, put them out on their patio in the summertime. Tell me some stories, and maybe the guy in Georgia you were telling me about earlier that eats fruit from his apartment.
Let me tell you, much deserve respect for this guy, because he grows mango trees and other stuff too inside his apartment in Atlanta, Georgia. It looks like,
and he has fruit,
and he gets fruit from his mangoes. He has UV lights over each tree. He has grow bags, which is not exactly a container. It's like looks like a big tote bag with it's porous. It's kind of a fabric, some kind of fabric, and then underneath it he has like a pedestal with wheels or something underneath it, and with a deposit for the water.
A little tray
from
thing.
the drainage.
Yeah.
So he waters his tree, and the water trickles down into a repository where it collects the water, and then he can remove it and dump it and put it back in. So he has everything under control. Everything's been thought out, and he's getting mangoes like lemon zest and a whole bunch of others I can't remember right now, but big mangoes. And
how many fruits on a tree, and what size is his pots?
like 7 gallons.
7 gallons.
And his trees are about, from what I see online on Facebook, I think they're about 5 to 6 feet tall.
Wow. And a 7 gallon. Then how many mangoes, how many fruits does he get on one tree?
Oh, at least a couple of fruit on each tree. And he has probably about 10 trees or more, or maybe 20.
Wow.
He has his page on Facebook. His name is Japeth. Japeth. Peth. Right? Harrison. Japeth Harrison. And if you type his name in on Facebook, you'll find his page and you'll see. Well, he has I think he started another page called Potted Mango Trees. And everybody that's growing potted mango trees outside of the tropical zone post their pictures and their videos on there too. And let me tell you, if you really enjoy fruit trees, Facebook is a great place because there's a lot of people making pages. There's a whole bunch of different pages that just dedicate themselves to tropical fruit, like mango growers of South Florida, mango growers of National Mango Growers. Grow All the Fruits is a good page. It's a whole Fruit Hub, which is a Facebook page that offers a place where sellers of fruit and of trees can go on there and post their fruit for sale, and people exchange info and stuff. But you gotta watch out for scams, unfortunately.
All right, Julian. So what's one of the biggest questions that people ask you all the time about your fruit trees?
What fertilizer to use?
Good question. What fertilizer do you use, and how often do you water?
Okay. Well, I always tell people to buy a moisture meter.
Yep. Okay. Good investment.
Before you water, you gotta either stick your finger in the dirt as deep as you can to see if it's wet or dry. If it's wet, it means it doesn't need water. It's you gotta keep checking. Check the next day, the day after, until you're like, wow, this is significantly drier. So I'm gonna water it. And if you can mix some all-purpose Miracle Grow, for example, in the water, you get 2 tablespoons in a gallon of water and mix it up, and get, for like a 1 gallon tree, for example, get like 2 or 3 cups out of the gallon and pour it on the roots. And you can do that every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
And you won't burn the tree. You know how many times these orchid nurseries put on 20-20-20 or Miracle Grow on their orchids? Every day.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's going to give you a high performance plant. It's going to grow really fast, has everything it needs. But the only fruit tree that does not like 20-20-20 or Miracle Grow is mango.
Mango.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't like too much fertilizer.
It doesn't like the nitrogen.
Yep.
So mangoes really don't like fertilizer in general. You don't need to fertilize mangoes unless the soil's really depleted. And if you want to really spoil your mango, there's a really good fertilizer called K-Mag. Letter K and then M-A-G. K-Mag. And that's a granular fertilizer, and you apply that with 1 tablespoon per every foot of height the tree has. So if the tree's 5 feet tall, it's 5 tablespoons around the tree. Okay, spread out behind. You don't mix this with water like Miracle Grow. And mangoes really love that because it's all trace elements. It's manganese, magnesium, zinc, everything a mango needs, except for nitrogen, because they don't need nitrogen. Apparently, mangoes are very efficient at finding nitrogen by themselves. And they need very little of that anyways. And they live off very little water. They don't need a lot of water to live, just enough. So you don't have to water every day. You only have to water when it needs that. And when do you know it needs water? So when you stick your finger in the dirt and see if it's wet or dry. Or you can make your life easier and buy a moisture meter. I like the moisture meter that they sell at amleo.com.
What brand is it?
I think it's the Lincoln.
Lincoln.
It's a really good brand.
How long's a probe?
Well, they sell 2 sizes. They sell a 9-inch and a 6-inch. And I have the 9-inch because I like to, for stuff in the ground, you like to go deep. It's it looks it's dry, and then you go all the way in and it's wet. You're like, oh. This still needs to dry up a little bit more. It's, under the roots it's still wet, so it has enough moisture to be able to, be okay by itself. Sometimes some stuff in the ground I've checked, I've gone with months without watering it.
Wow.
Because you think it needs water, but if you put that moisture meter all the way down where the roots are, like in the bottom of the root area, it's still wet. So, you can't trust what you see with your eyes, because it could look dry on top, it could be wet in the bottom, or vice versa.
Right. So tell me this, Julian. So, you mentioned Miracle Grow 2020. Are there any good organic alternatives that you would recommend for people that don't want to use a Miracle Grow?
Just compost.
Compost.
Yeah.
So how often would you feed with compost?
When you say you feed it, you just pour it, just
top it off.
You just top dress it. And when you see that's running, wearing off, you just put some more.
I see.
You know what I use too that works really good? Sometimes I have some like used soil from a tree that died or something. I just top dress it with that, and they just spring up really nice. But the fertilizer because I mix my soil with a slow release fertilizer from Pure Coat. It's that purple stuff.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, that lasts about 6 months.
That's slow release.
It's slow release, so you really don't have to worry about fertilizing for a good 3-4 months, or less. Maybe 3 months or 2, depending how long the tree's been in the pot. So either way, if you want to fertilize with Miracle Grow, you can add it. It's not going to hurt it if it has fertilizer already mixed in with the soil. But Miracle Grow won't burn it as long as you put 2 tablespoons in a gallon of water.
All right, Julian. So I see you got a Mamey Sapote shirt on. What's up with that?
Well, this is a clothing line I decided to start. I have it available on my website. It's called the Lara Farms Miami Tropical Collection.
Oh, cool.
So this is the Mamey Sapote line, and it features embroidered Mamey here. It has about I think 8 different colors in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
That's
it's very
cool.
very detailed. It's just beautifully made, 100% cotton, and you have the neck tag with Lara Farms Miami logo on here, where it's not a regular t-shirt or company that makes generic basic shirts. This is custom made just for this.
Wow.
And I'm starting out with Mamey Sapote, and hopefully soon I'm going to start using these shirts for the guanabana. I'm going to start doing maybe avocado or guava or coconut or durian, and many others, starfruit. The possibilities are endless. So I started it and see how it goes. I think it's a great idea for the fruit enthusiast, and it's a nice piece to go out to the movies or go to the bar and to spark conversation with like-minded people. They notice this and hey, where'd you get that shirt? Do you like guanabana? Do you like? Oh, I love guanabana. I saw your shirt. So it's a nice piece to to start conversations with like-minded people that you never knew was around you. Maybe they see it and they say, hey, I want to get this too.
That's cool. So last couple questions for you, Julian, is how many different kinds of fruit trees do you sell?
Oh, wow. I never really counted, but if you go on my website, I have pretty much a lot of different fruit on there, from grafted tamarind. I got grafted guava. I have a special guava that doesn't get any worms here in South Florida.
Really?
Yeah, which is a big
deal.
deal.
No fruit flies, huh?
It's indigestible to the larvae.
Because it's too thick or what?
No, the sap of the fruit has something in there that they can't eat. So the fruit fly lands on the fruit and detects it and says, "Oh, not here."
Wow.
And just
what color
away.
is on the inside?
Oh, it's pink.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's like a pear about the size of a pear, and pink on the inside, yellow on the outside. Great tasting guava. It's Caribbean guava. It's not a Thai guava, and Thai guavas get worm-ridden if you're not covering the fruit. So this one you don't have to cover, and for the backyard here in South Florida is just a must-have. If you have a guava tree, cut it down and get this one, because everything else is not worth it. They all get worms, every single one of them. But I have a lot of stuff. I can't go at one by one, but it's a lot. If you go on LaraFarmsMiami.com, you'll see everything that I got growing here.
All right, and then you don't know, like, so that's just different types of fruit from, you know, soursop to mangoes to avocados to mamey to chico zapotes to star fruit, and you could probably keep going, right? So you have a lot of those.
Star apple, Mamey Americana, lychee, longan, mamey, mulberry. Got the Pakistani mulberry. I got this really good Vietnamese pomegranate that actually makes fruit here in South Florida.
Oh yeah, you got the persimmon, I saw.
I got this
from Israel.
A persimmon by the name of Triumph that makes a lot of fruit here in South Florida, which is unseen in the South Florida landscape. That and pomegranate, I think, are two big,
super rare,
really two possibilities that can really change the landscape here. You know, not just mangoes and avocado. You can have persimmons, you can have pomegranate, and man.
And so, of the different cultivars, like you would say, the mango, you have over 100 different kinds. Is that the one that you have the most cultivars of a certain type of fruit?
Yeah, actually, I have probably like 130.
130 now.
But I'm only listing 100 right now. I'm gonna have to make like a 2.0 part on my website for mangoes.
I see.
So it's gonna, you know, it's gonna be a while till I do that. But I think 100 is good.
Wow, yeah, that's quite a few for sure. And what's your best-selling fruit tree out there?
I think mango. I think because there's so much variety and so
people love, and it's the #1 favorite fruit in the world, actually.
Yeah, there's so much fanfare behind mangoes and festivals. And you know, just videos and pictures out there of all these different cultivars and the descriptions. Some taste like coconut, some taste like peaches, some taste like pineapple, some taste like guava, some taste like lemon meringue pie.
Yep, that's my favorite right there.
Lemon meringue?
Lemon meringue is my favorite.
Yeah, that
Absolutely.
one is a great mango. That one blew me away when I first tried that. Never tried one of these unique mangoes, unique flavored mangoes. There's really three different types of mangoes. There's the classic flavor.
I don't like those.
Well, it's just a regular flavor mango, and then there's the Indo-Chinese flavor, which is the Nam Doc Mai. And
I like those too.
And the Philippine mangoes, and then there's the unique flavored mangoes, which is, you know, the coconut cream, the lemon zest, the lemon meringue, the guava, the St. Maui, which tastes like green guava.
Wow.
And then the guava mango, there's no one just called guava. That one tastes like a ripe guava.
Wow, that's insane.
And then I have one called Timor, which is from Egypt, and that one tastes like you opened up a can of peaches and drank the syrup.
Oh my god.
With like mango mixed in there somehow. So these flavors are very unique, and it's really cool because it's really nature imitating nature.
Yeah. Wow. Cool, Julian. So if somebody wants to buy into these mango trees, how can they do that?
Just go to LaraFarmsMiami.com.
All right. So yeah, LaraFarmsMiami.com. I'll put a link down below. You guys could check it out. Any final words of wisdom you'd like to share with all my fruit lovers who stayed at the end of this video?
Yeah, well, if you have any questions about how to grow your tree and how to take care of it, don't hesitate to call me or message me, and I'm here to help. And I love my customers. They're really good to me. They really do love me.
Wow, thank you, Julian, for having me out today and for this interview. And I hope you guys, after watching this interview, know the #1 source for your grafted rare fruit trees online, right? This is the man right here, right? He runs this place. He answers the customer service. He answers all your emails. Highest level customer service. You'll get the trees in good shape, even with a 30-day guarantee, so that just know you're just going to get some good stuff so that you can be eating some amazing fruit, cultivars you're not going to find other places. LaraFarmsMiami.com. Check them out, guys. And if you guys enjoyed this video, hear me at LaraFarmsMiami.com. Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. More importantly, share this with other fruit lovers around the country that have always wanted to grow some unique and rare varieties of fruits so that they can learn the best place to buy trees that are going to make it in shipping and make it to you, and how he grafts some of these rare varieties to make them available to you guys all over the United States. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss my new and upcoming episodes. I've come out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel. And make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. The past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 1,700 episodes at this time on this channel, dedicated to teach you guys all about how to grow your own food at home. So with that, my name is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. We'll see you next time. And until then, remember, keep on growing.